after listening to a space by the name of DJ Big A, I'm sure you folks know who he is. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time dancing around what I'm going to say today. His title was "The Term White Supremacy is Only Used by Scary Negroes." No, wrong. I met DJ Big A on Clubhouse, on their space on Clubhouse, and they were using white supremacy every chance, every other word. But now, since they are upset, I guess with some of my broadcasts, they are going to have the nerve to make a title and say, Negroes are scared of white supremacy. I told them over there that I don't use the word white supremacy. Ain't no one on this earth supreme to me. And they've been listening to my broadcasts in the past few months. Because I told they brain dead stuff on Clubhouse, they sounded like fools to keep running around saying the word white supremacy. I told them that over there. Why in God's name would you ever say the word white supremacy out your mouth? Why would you take the chance to let your children and grandkids hear you say the word white supremacy out your mouth? Why would you do it? Why? What is the reason for it? So no, it was them, Freedmen's, Black Americans, ADOS, FPA, African Americans who ran around on these social media apps using the word white supremacy. And because none of them, not any of them were saying the term Negro out their mouth. So it couldn't have been the Negroes. Because they won't even identify or even saying the word or putting it in print out of their mouth or in print. Let's all say it together. All these persons who've been on Clubhouse and Twitterland and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and who else did I leave out? They won't even send the term Negro out their mouth. They were saying Black American, African American, Freeman, ADOS, and FBA. So now Tariq Nasheed is saying Negro when that man never was saying Negro out of his mouth 6 months ago. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, however y'all do that little search that go back 1 year or 2 years on a person's profile on Twitter, go do the search and call me a liar. Y'all know how to do it. Y'all do it for all these other persons. So just go name by name. Every time you hear one of them say Negro is a sellout, Negro is a coon, I want you to click on their profile and do that little search and go back 2 years and call me a liar. It's nowhere on their timeline. It's not. Most of them don't even have it on their profile until I called it out over a year ago. It's been over a year ago that I pointed that out. And now some of them have put it on their profile. But go do that search on a timeline and tell me I'm a liar if they had it posted anywhere on a timeline before I started calling them out. And they are also upset because they are showing that they are weak to their enemy. Those persons who they call white, that I also told them, nobody is white. No one is black. That's another reason why he's upset with the Negroes. He's upset with the Negroes because the Negroes have a true bloodline and Black American don't. That's what's got him bent out of shape also, and that is why his name is going to go in my title. I am going to put that sorry man on blast. And if he got a problem with me, he can get on an airplane and beat me to the ground. I don't give a darn. Any of they little weak cliques can get on an airplane and fly to Fayetteville, North Carolina. If they got a problem with anything I say on this broadcast, seeing that how they don't, only thing they know how to do is be online gangsters, online audio gangsters. Because they ain't showing their enemy nothing but a weak backbone. So if they want to come beat up a 62-year-old, be my guest. It'll only be the second time that I got beat up in my life. So if they want to be number 2, number 3, that beat me up, then come do it. Just get on an airplane and come do it, because I only got beat up one time in my life. Well, I only lost a fight one time. So they could be number 2. They could be number 3. They could be number 4. And they could be number 5, and on and on and on. But their name is going on my title. Because these weak backbone human beings want to try to claim that everyone is a sellout, is a Negro now. Every person that's been a sellout for decades and decades and decades and decades is a Negro now. When these sorry human beings couldn't even tell the OMB they wanted to save Negro. They didn't even have enough backbone to tell the OMB. When the OMB told them to their face, read it off to them, read the whole little script. Each of the 3 days, the lady read the script stating clearly, we plan to remove Negro. And they didn't even have enough backbone to have any pushback to the OMB, let alone any other human beings. But they got enough backbone to get on an app and try to paint Negro in a negative light and call everybody Tom, Dick, and Harry a Negro coon, a Negro sellout, when these very same persons never said Negro out of their mouth. And they think they're going to get reparations. They are mad also. They are also mad because I looked up the phrase. I put it in my little notepad here. Let me go to it. Let me go to my little notepad. I looked it up on my notepad. Was slavery in America recorded as Negro slavery? Let's all say it together. Was slavery in America recorded as Negro slavery? Yes, slavery in America was recorded as Negro slavery. That's the response that Google gave. And I also looked up another statement on Google. Let me switch over. How did I type it up? I saved my little screen. Just give me a second here. It's not going to take long at all. It's going to take about a minute or two, and I'm going to read it off to you. Seeing as how these sorry human beings like to run around here and lie and paint lying narratives, then that only takes 5 or 10 minutes to go search on Google and expose them for a bald-faced liar. But they've been lying all their life, so they wear it like a badge of honor. They've been running around for decades and decades, and nobody corrected them, and they feel that they can continue to do it. But I'm still in my faculties. I'm not senile yet. I am quite in my faculties, and I know how to search different things on Google. And seeing as how I do know how to search things on Google, I don't understand why these weak human beings run around telling lies on Twitter land and other social media apps when it only takes about 5 or 10 minutes for someone to look up their lie that's flowing out of their mouth. But they don't care about that. They are quite proud of running around lying 24/7 because they don't know how to do anything else. They don't have a backbone to do anything else but lie. They too weak to do anything else. So they got to be proud of lying. And they think they're going to get away with it, but God is not going to let them get away with it. They are running around here lying and telling everybody that sit in the audience that Black American was the term that we went by. That's a bald-faced lie. So I decided to look it up to verify it, and it reads as follows. When did a Negro this one is about the UN. When did the Negro go before the UN? In 1951. the UN. It went before the UN. A group of African American activists, primarily associated with the Civil Rights Congress (CRC), presented a petition to the United Nations in 1951 titled "We Charge Genocide," which alleged that the U.S. government was committing genocide against Black Americans, effectively declaring Negro genocide before the UN. You see that? Do y'all hear that? They could have put Black genocide on that book. They could have put Black American genocide on that book. But on the front of that book, it clearly spells out Negro genocide. So if these persons who went before the UN, who signed that petition, if they were going by Black American, don't you think they would have had Black American on the front of the book? If they were declaring genocide of Black Americans? No. The other thing I meant to write down. Let me see if I still have that browser open and get to that. I like that last question here. Let's see. Okay. That's not the one I'm looking for. Okay. There we go. I thought I had left that screen open. I thought I had left that browser open, and seeing as how I did, I'm going to read it. So I've been doing my best not be so hard on these human beings that identifies Black American and African American and freeman and ADOS and LPA. I have tried to explain it in a very respectful way. I've done my absolute best to explain the research in a very, very respectful way. But seeing as how many persons on Twitter are running around here in these Twitter spaces, every time they say something negative, that person is a Negro all of a sudden. Like I said before, I try my best to be respectful. But seeing as how I have been observing for the past 6 months, I've been sitting back, popping in anonymous, eavesdropping, and I keep hearing these persons who I know I've been listening to for most of them for well over 2 years, and they were never saying Negro out of their mouth. They were never saying Negro out of their mouth. But in the last 6 months, they can't stop saying Negro out of their mouth. So my common sense tells me they are upset and jealous and threatened by the term Negro. They are finally starting to let the light bulb go off, and they are threatened just like America is threatened, just like J. Edgar Hoover told America, what is the greatest threat to America? America, what is the greatest threat to America? They asked J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover, please answer the question. J. Edgar Hoover, can you please answer this question? What is the greatest threat to America? J. Edgar Hoover said the greatest threat to America is Negro unity. That is upsetting Denmark, DJ Big A, Big Hawk, Jake, and all you persons who identify as Black. You are quite upset to find out the truth that the greatest threat to America is not Black American unity. The greatest threat to America is not Black American unity. The greatest threat to America is not African American unity. Those Pan-Africans are in the same boat with you. They're not identifying as Negroes because they don't have it on their paperwork. See how that works? But let me finish with my little saying. lost my train of thought here. Yeah, Black American J. Edgar Hoover did not claim that Black American unity was the greatest threat to America. J. Edgar Hoover did not claim that African American was the greatest threat to America. J. Edgar Hoover did not claim that freedmen unity was the greatest threat to America. J. Edgar Hoover did not claim that ADOS unity was the greatest threat to America. J. Edgar Hoover did not claim that FBA unity is the greatest threat to America. No, J. Edgar Hoover, let me see here. I think I better go over here and do a quick another search. Just give me a second here. J. Edgar Hoover. So let me type it in the search box. What is the greatest threat to America? And seeing as how they have listened to my broadcast, they are upset. They are quite bent out of shape. J. Edgar Hoover. So it looks like Google done did some rewriting already, but see, I saved the JPEG. I saved the JPEG. I most certainly saved the JPEG. Cause I got the newspaper image that says it in black and white. So I'm more than likely gonna have to dig that up and post it on my Twitter timeline. Cause I'm almost absolutely sure I still have the image that I took a screenshot of. Cause you know, Google in America in the OMB are quite busy trying to rewrite history and erase Negro and insert the term Black American and African American. So I'm doing my absolute best to copy and save all of this information to my notepad that I can save to my disk drive, my little disk. I am doing my absolute best because I have already built a Negro ancestor history website. It has already went live. It's live. It's been live for about a little over a month. And so I will be adding my different content to that website to help educate the young generation who are being miseducated in the public schools, and to also educate these subpar human beings who call themselves human beings who have pink skin and pale skin, but you persons call them white. But seeing as how I have abolished the word white, they are either Caucasian or pink, a very, very light pink, or pale. I don't call these demons white. And if you're so desperate to call your enemy a term, call them white evil. Because the person who came up with the word white supremacy should have came up with the slogan white evil. Wonder how things would have turned out if all the human beings who've been saying white supremacy all of these hundreds of years, if they had been saying white evil, don't you think things would have turned out different? I think things would have turned out different. But see, that's how you folks programmed yourself to say the word white supremacy out your mouth. My mother never said that word out of her mouth. My brothers and sisters never said that word out of their mouth. Persons in my community that I played with never said white supremacy out of their mouth. I didn't start hearing the word white supremacy until I downloaded Clubhouse and started using Twitter audio room. That's when I started hearing the word white supremacy and also hate. You weak human beings throw the word hate around like a crush, like you're walking around on crutches. You throw the word hate around like you're walking around on crutches. You're so weak. You got to keep on using the word hate, the very word that your enemy has used to harm you. And the only persons on this earth that word belongs to are the enemy. That's the only person that word belongs to. But I don't make it a habit to say the word hate. That's another word that my mother did not use in my household when I was growing up. So I didn't hear that word until I got on these social media apps. Not the way you persons, not the way you weak person throw that word around. Because you don't have a backbone, you have to use a strong word like hate to make you feel empowered. Because you're weak. You're so weak that you got to throw a word around called hate to make you feel empowered. It's downright pitiful. It's downright shameful. But you're going to answer for it. Each one of you are going to answer for it. Somaggio, all you folks over there in the Pan-African space, all you folks over there in the space that call folks Tetter, each of you are going to answer for it. You folks are so weak, you go back and forth and call each other names and curse each other out and call each other names and curse each other out and say, you are hate. You are hate. I hate you. You are a hate group. I hate you. You are a hate group. Excuse me. Do you folks have anything else, stronger word to use? It really make you look bad. It's downright embarrassing. It's downright embarrassing. But I wanted to read one more thing. Another question that I asked Google. When did the term change from Negro to Black? Let's all say it together. I asked Google the question, when did the term change from Negro to Black? The shift from using Negro to Black as the preferred term for African Americans primarily occurred during 1960. Like I've been saying on my broadcast, like Talon, New Negro Republic, had told all of us in the Negro space, he did the research. And then I decided to do my own research. And this is what I found. I didn't dig as deep. I don't have that skill to do that kind of research that Talent, New Negro Republic, and the farmer and other persons. But I did my best, and I came up with the answer that I was looking for. That I wanted to prove that you folks been running around here on these apps, lying to people, and not telling them that we all identify as Black American. Well, I clearly looked it up, and I already knew that because I myself was born in 1962, and they put it on my birth certificate. So if they were not using Negro when I was born in 1962, they would not have put Negro on my birth certificate. They would have put Black American, but they did not. They put Negro on my birth certificate. And that adds up to the time frame that New Negro Republic had reported on well over a year and a half ago. Well over a year and a half ago, in the Negro space of La Farmers, that information had already been discussed. That information had already been researched. So it didn't take much effort. I really didn't have to break a sweat to get that answer. And just like I said, around 1970, America started changing all the forms and applications to Black American and then later to African American. But before then, and when you count the 246 years that Negro ancestors identified as Negro, and since we clearly know that slavery was recorded as Negro slavery, and then another 100 years all the way up to a little past 1965, the term Negro was being put on birth certificates, marriage license, and death certificates. So this bald-faced lie that you persons are running around here telling everybody that we are all Black Americans, you don't speak for 40 million persons. Who told you you were God? Who told your little brain that you were God? That you have asked over 40 million persons how they choose to identify. But DJ Big A thinks he have the right to speak for over 40 million persons. And many of you are doing the same thing. You're on a public app thinking that you have the ability and the liberty to speak for over 40 million persons when you only have the ability to speak for one person. You are not God. I am not God. You are not God. Aquilin is not God. I can only speak for one person. But you persons are so desperate to hold on to Black American, you make a fool of yourself. You downright make a fool of yourself because you think your delusional brain think you have the right to speak for over 40 million or 50 million persons, and you are delusional. Each one of you sound delusional and pitiful every time you do it. So if I was you, I'd stop embarrassing myself. I would downright stop embarrassing myself on a public app and sounding like I have the ability to speak for over 40 million human beings, over 50 million human beings, and Pan-African, you in that same boat. All of you who claim to be Pan-African, who think that everybody is Black, y'all so pitiful. You think everybody is Black because your enemy told you you were Black. They told you you were Black, so now you run around here 24/7 with the programming that everybody is Black. They told you they were white, and you run around with that programming too and call them white. It's downright pitiful. It's downright pitiful for adults to be displaying that example for their children and grandkids. Don't you realize that? Don't you realize that more than likely your children and grandkids are watching and listening? Why would you do it when you clearly know that no human being is born white? There's not one human being on this earth that was born white. That there's not one human being that was born Black. When you came into the world, and when I came into the world, I came into the world being birthed into a bloodline. A bloodline. I spelled bloodline, and it wasn't spelled Black. When I took that first breath, that was my birthright. And the mother and father who conceived me, they came from a bloodline, and it wasn't spelled black or white. And we know this. It's plain as day. All you have to do is take a piece of paper that's white or a piece of paper that's black. Not one single human being has ever been born white. Not one single human being has ever been born black. And these delusional human beings really think they're going to gatekeep Black American. They think they're going to steal the harm done to Negroes and put it up under Black American and tell the OMB they have come up with a new acronym. The acronym that they have come up with is Black American Negro Descendant. Well, it's not going to fly. It's not going to fly because they so, oh my Lord, let me find the right word. They so delusional that they are not even, maybe they are aware. These human beings are so delusional and so ungrateful, so disrespectful, that they don't even realize that there is already a code for Afro descendants. So who are the Afro descendants? Will someone send me a DM and explain to me why there's a code for Afro descendants? Because my understanding that the Negro descendants are the only descendants in America who are descendants of Negro ancestors. So these sorry human beings have lost 246 years. They have completely lost 246 years because they were ungrateful. They were ungrateful and they were disrespectful for dishonoring the Negroes who suffered through slavery for 246 years. They wanted to be Black American. They wanted to be Black American, and so they told the OMB out of their own mouth. They told the OMB, I prefer to identify as Black American. Well, America recorded Negro slavery as Negro slavery. American didn't record slavery as Black American slavery. So when you go to court, you don't change one word. You don't change one letter. So by changing and identifying as Black American, you are removing the evidence. You are removing the very, very, very evidence of the crime, which was Negroes who were put up for sale. Negro who was put up for sale, but they have such a small brain, they can't even process that. They think they're going to get to come up with a new definition and a new description that defines Negro slavery, and America is going to accept it. No, all you're going to do is remove the evidence. And America more than likely won't care if you come up with those made-up definitions, because the true evidence is how America recorded it, which was Negro slavery. It was not recorded as African American slavery. Negro slavery was not recorded as freeman slavery. Negro slavery was not recorded as ADOS slavery. Negro slavery was not recorded as FBA. And that is why Tariq Nasheed has suddenly started using the term Negro in a negative light. I caught about 2 or 3 of his Twitter space. I can't stomach more than 5 minutes. I cannot stomach more than 5 minutes. So one night I was up late working, and I let the devil tell me to click on his room title. It popped up on my phone notification, and normally I just ignore it. Normally I would just ignore it and pay it no mind. But something told me that night, like the devil said, click on that room title. And as soon as I clicked on his room title, I got in there just at the right time to hear him try to make the statement that a sellout or a coon was a Negro, when that subpar human being had never said Negro out of his mouth 6 months ago. And you folks who know him and love him, you folks who know him, who know Tariq Nasheed, and you know him and you love him, go do the search and call me a liar. Go do the search and find it. Find anywhere where Tariq said out of his mouth the term Negro anytime before 6 months ago. If you can find that information and send it to me, then I will make a broadcast and call myself a liar. I won't need you to call me a liar. I'll call myself a liar and do it on a live broadcast like I'm doing right now. See how that works? I don't have a problem taking accountability, because if I'm saying something out of my mouth, I know it's the truth, or I'm not going to say it, because that's just the way I move. That is the way I operate. That's the way I have been all of my life since the day I had the conversation with my mother. I said, Mom, why do some people lie and some people don't? I just outright asked my mother the question, because I grew up with a lying sister and a lying brother. So one day I said to my mother, I said, Mom, why is it so easy for some persons to lie and some persons don't lie? She says because of their conscience. If they have a conscience, they won't be able to lie so easily. But those persons who don't live with a conscience, they can lie quicker than they can blink their eye. And me and my mother had a pleasant conversation that day, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Because I didn't want to grow up and be a liar like my brothers and sisters. I didn't want to do that. So I just simply asked my mother the question directly, because my little brain works that way. My little brain worked that way. When I evaluate what's going on around me and I have questions about things, I will just ask my mother about it when I was growing up. I've always been that way. And when I was in the 12th grade, just getting ready to graduate, my teacher told me, she said to me one day, you like to analyze things. I didn't know what she meant. I really didn't. But I can remember her saying it, and I'm like, why is this stranger saying that word to me? And as I grew up, I started to understand what she meant. But at that very moment, I didn't understand why she said that to me. I made a mental note of it. I just stamped a note of it in my brain. And then as I grew up, I started to realize that's what I do. I analyze stuff upwards and sideways, left and right. If I'm walking across a bridge, more than likely my little brain is in high gear, and I'm wondering how that bridge is standing up. I just do it. I do it unconsciously. I really do. And it bothers me sometimes. I'm going to be honest with you. It literally bothers me to live with myself, to constantly be analyzing stuff. So I'm just going to tell you like that. I'm just going to be frankly honest with you, because I have to deal with myself. I have to live with myself. And that's the one thing that kind of bothers me, that I'm constantly analyzing things. So I have exposed two main lies tonight, that the term Negro came before the term Black American, which was already reported over a year and a half ago. Well over a year and a half ago, these same line people knew that information. They knew it, but they still chose to run around and paint the narrative that Black American came before the term Negro. That's another reason why they are never going to see one red penny, one red nickel, one red dime, one red quarter of reparations. because you cannot get reparations for a harm when you are identifying different. That's just simple entry-level law. Entry-level law 101. You can learn that without going into a classroom. I mean, that's basic. That's simple, basic entry-level law. That if you are trying to win a case, a legal case, against evil America, you don't change one word. You don't change one letter. But these persons who think they are smart and who are offended by the term Negro, these persons who think Negro is outdated, they cannot bear that. But they can get on a public app and try to tell the whole world that every person that's a sellout are suddenly a Negro now. So they wake up in the morning and they tell their little brain that anytime they are talking about a sellout or a coon, they are going to say the word Negroes because they are threatened by the term Negro. I am going to keep on repeating it. Negro is a true bloodline. There's an origin. There's a nation. But you can't say that for Black American. You can't say that same thing for African American. Because the OMB currently have a definition on their website for the term Black American / African American. And the description that they have on their websites states any person who identifies as a Black American, any person that identifies as a African American is a individual belonging to a Black racial group of Africa. Let's all say it together. Any person who identifies themselves as Black American or African American, the description on the OMB website is that individual is an individual belonging to a Black racial group of Africa. No baby is born into a Black racial group. Not one single human being has ever been born into a Black racial group. That's another reason why they upset with me. They've been listening to my broadcast, and I broke it down. That unless you're brain dead, you don't have an identity right now. Not one of you. If you are